And it's turned into a beautiful day for some college lacrosse here in Charlottesville, Virginia. Klockner Stadium, the site of the battle for the Doyle-Smith Cup between Johns Hopkins and Virginia. You got Big Ten ACC, you got two top 10 teams, and you got a prize on the line that's resided here in Charlottesville since 2019, named after the godfather of lacrosse statistics, Doyle-Smith, affiliated with both these programs. We cannot wait to watch it with you. Alongside Quint, Kessenich, I'm Drew Carter and Q, and we were talking with Lars Tiffany this week, Virginia's head coach. He said, for guys of your era, this game was the game. And Virginia. Logan Callahan takes the opening draw for the Blue Jays, and it's Gable Braun for the Cavaliers. No Anthony Gobriel today for UVA. Physicality right off the opening whistle. It's still Braun and Callahan battling under the sun here in Charlottesville, and it's scooped up by Ben Weyer. Virginia wins the opening possession momentarily, taken away by the freshman Quinton Kilrain on the interception. And Jacob Angelis slows things down for Hopkins. You see they're 4-1. Really could easily be 5-0. Q, you called their opener against Denver. They lost that game in overtime, really in back-breaking fashion, but ever since they've been rock solid.
Bizarro world loss where they had, what, a 3 or 4 goal lead late, gave up a game-tying goal with a second to go in the game.
And Denver ultimately won that one in overtime, but Hopkins undefeated since, holding 4 consecutive opponents, Towson, Georgetown, Loyola, and North Carolina, to single-digit goals. Speaking of defense, you saw Matt Nunes between the pipes for UVA, the reigning ACC Defensive Player of the Week, made 17 saves in their win against Ohio State. Can't stop that one, though. It's Johns Hopkins on the board first. Jonathan Peshko cashes in.
Blue Jays run a motion offense, all 6 pieces in constant movement. And playing off-ball defense is going to be one of the keys for the Cavaliers today. Peshko will take this feed from Bauer, 7. And look at the defense staring at the ball carrier. Peshko cuts to the weak pipe and a one-touch pass, Nunes. The challenges for Virginia will be a little less on the ball and more off the ball. There's Hopkins in constant motion with cuts and picks and screens.
Again, a battle for the faceoff, and again, Angelis had it. It was hacked free by John Schroeder, big 49 and in white. He's 6'5", and along their starting defense, they've got some really big dudes in front of Nunes, who's being hounded right now by Russell Melendez. Gets it out to Mitchell Whalen, and across midfield to Ryan Colsey on that first midfield for Virginia. Colsey to Jack Boyd in the D3 transfer. And he blows it right past Chase Erlin. Boyden's been a revelation for this team, Q. He was the best attackman in D3 last year at Tufts, and he's carried that to the top level of the sport.
Transitions part of the DNA of this Cavalier program. Nice job by Colsey to sniff this thing out. And Hopkins caught on a sloppy or late sub. And so it's kind of like a slow 5-on-4 break. The Blue Jays have to rotate, and Boyden can't miss. A key for Hopkins is to slow the Virginia transition down. It's to battle for loose balls. Virginia's so tough off the ground.
That time it was Matthew D'Souza, number 33, taking the faceoff for Virginia, but Callahan comes away with it.
Yeah, Gobriel's absence is significant for Virginia. He's been tearing it up this year, the transfer from Navy. They've got a Fogo room, that goes about 4 or 5 deep. Colucci, Braun, D'Souza.
For the season, Virginia is almost 60% at the face-off X, which is top 15 in the country. Big reason why they're 3-0 with wins over Michigan, Richmond, and Ohio State, all those ranked teams. But this is their stiffest test yet. Nunes got a piece of that shot from Brendan Grimes. Cole Kastner comes away with it for UVA. He's been one of the best in the business for the last 3 years. George Fulton, big Boston Celtics fan out of Jamaica Plain in Boston. Clears it, and UVA will set up shop. 3 minutes in, tied at 1.
Virginia's defense looks like the Boston Celtics. Little hidden ball trick right now for Virginia.
It's Joey Terenzi. You warned me about that last night, number 5 for UVA.
Joey's got to mix it up a little. I think everybody has seen his goal against Richmond on the hidden ball trick.
Here's McCabe Millen, the do-it-all outstanding freshman for the Hoos. An elite recruit out of McDonough. Here comes Boyden again. His pass deflected and scooped up. There's Scott Smith. Feels like Scott Smith has been drawing the #1 assignment for Hopkins for the last 5 years. In transition, the bouncer snuffed out by Nunes. Matthew Nunes, a starter since he was a freshman here in Charlottesville. Virginia on the run. Schellenberger cranks, kicked aside by Erlin.
Big time save by Erlin right there on the 4-on-3.
Back up 1 by Virginia. Good hustle from Griffin Schutz, who himself is a former #1 recruit. That was Erlin's first save. It was a kick save and a beauty.
Both goaltenders with some stellar efforts early that leads to the transition game and the counter attack. Both these teams can run. Hopkins scored 4 transition goals last week against Carolina. Obviously, Virginia loves to run.
How about this for the rivalry, though, Q? In the first 5 minutes, we had Hopkins scoring first. Virginia responded 33 seconds later. You got a big save by Nunes and a big save by Erlin. That's what you sign up for, a top 10 battle.
Kilrain joins is assigned the Millen matchup.
What a feed. Schellenberger to Cormier. Picks a corner and the Cavs lead. Well, welcome to Charlottesville. If you're joining us here on ACC Network, hope you enjoyed the matchup in Chapel Hill. Drew Carter and Quint Kessenich with you. And if you're just joining, you probably know what you missed. Connor Schellenberger to Peyton Cormier, and Lars Tiffany's Cavs lead by 1.
Happy birthday, Peyton Cormier. I mean, Schellenberger's got x-ray vision. He can see through the formation. Hopkins sends a double. You see the 2 men on #1 in white, and that means they crash the crease. Cormier positioned himself on the weak side. It's a skip pass or a through pass.
Who's 2? Blue Jays 1. 4.5 minutes in.
I think they're closer. But so far in this game, Virginia's ability to attack off of the ground and off of turnovers has led to the advantage.
Hopkins has not beaten Virginia since 2018. Hoos have won the last 2. Gable Braun is 3 for 3 at the face-off X. No Anthony Gobriel today for UVA, the Navy transfer, who's been great for them to start the season. But so far, no problem for the Hoos, who are 3-0 with 3 wins all over ranked teams. Trying to win their first 4 games against ranked opponents for the first time since the 90s.
Virginia doing some tricks here in the sub game. Keeping some defensive personnel on the field, trying to pin Hopkins players on.
Ben Weyer, 44 in white, running off now with his long pole. Truett Sunderland checks in from the box.
Yeah, this group will need to step up if Virginia's going to win a national championship. Look, I love their Virginia attack. I love their D. It's the midfield depth of scoring that's a question mark right now.
Well, here's one guy they're excited about, Patrick McIntosh, who's been nursing a hamstring issue all season. Feel like he's finally getting healthy. Now Schellenberger with 20 to shoot. Double team, surrounded by black jerseys, somehow keeps it. Here's Millen. Operating from up top, around the screen, feeds Cormier. He's got a goal already. Trying to get his hands free. 5 on the timer. Cormier still with it. Schellenberger, count it! Bouncers will go for Connor Schellenberger. Last time he fed Cormier. This time it goes the other way. 3-1 UVA.
This is a sensational possession for Virginia. Cormier, he is such a load and draws the double team where Hopkins right there, they send 2 to him and everybody kind of crunches the crease area. Look how tight the Hopkins defensive splits are. Schellenberger sees that. Late in the shot clock, he sets his feet up, so it's catch, 1/2 cradle, and a shot from mid-range.
For Connor Schellenberger, you see over 250 career points, one of 3 players in Virginia history who can say that. He's 16 behind Steele Stanwyck, 24 behind Matt Moore. That was coming into the day. He's already got a goal and an assist. And for Virginia, it's 3 goals in just over 4 minutes. After Jonathan Peshko scored first for Hopkins.
I thought it was interesting, Coach Tiffany telling us that Connor hadn't been happy with his shooting percentage so far this season. From mid and inside, he is money in the bank with that right hand especially.
Well,
beautiful shot.
Coming into today, Q, both Schellenberger and Cormier had been struggling by their standards. But Hopkins coming right back with Matt Collison, a lefty hammer from way.
He was more assertive in their win in Georgetown against the Swamp Dogs. And look at him, he just barrels his way through this matchup as if the defensive midfielder is not even there, shooting through pressure. Just power in the one-on-one matchup. Virginia's going to have to send a double to that one.
6'4", 225 for Collison. Hopkins responds in just 31 seconds. And it's back to a one-goal game. This is Dylan Bauer, the senior out of Park City, Utah. Bauer had the assist on Peshko's goal to get us started. Jacob Angelis, 23 in black, their leading assist man. Collison hunting his shot now, gets it to Russell Melendez. Back up top in Angelis. Now Bauer. Approaching the midway point of this first quarter. After 3 Virginia goals in a row, Collison made it a one-goal game. Goes back to work here. Flips it to Degnan. Denied by Nunes. That's 2 saves for the junior out of the Woodlands, Texas.
Nunes has been spectacular this season. Big step up from a year ago. Now a junior.
Millen from a sharp angle somehow feeds Cormier. His shot well off the mark. Backed up by Millen in Virginia. I know you love goalie play, though, Q. Nunes and Erlin, we've got 2 good ones today.
Yeah, and, you know, they're different style goalies. I would say Nunes maybe is a little more explosive and light on his feet. Erlin's bigger. He'll hit you with that wide base. He's a hockey goalie, so he plays deeper on the goal line. He's really good from severe angles, is Erlin. Victor, New York. Hockey was his primary sport for most of his early years.
Here comes Griffin Schutz, who is a freight train. You know, Chase Erlin committed to Cornell and Peter Milliman when he was an assistant back in 2015.
That's a long time ago.
Erlin, the grad transfer from Cornell, reuniting with his former assistant and head coach Milliman. Now in his 4th year at Hopkins. Schutz turns, stopped by Erlin. He plucked it out of the air and scooped it off the ground.
Strong defense on the corner by the Blue Jays. They forced Cormier to inside roll. The double team gets there, and Erlin, as we said, shuts the door on the severe angle shots. This game features a cross-section, Drew, on both teams in sizes. You got some small, fast guys like Angelis. You got some bigger, muscled-up guys like Cormier and Collison. You got some speed guys. You got some length in the Virginia's defense. So those matchups, like a basketball game, those matchups are really nuanced.
Yeah, Virginia's backline was a bunch of lumberjacks. Here's Degnan, who scored in 35 consecutive games, longest active streak in the country. Now Melendez. Matched up with George Fulton, one of those aforementioned tall guys on the back line at 6'6". Angelis on the feet, hits Degnan on the run. He beats Nunes far side, and we are tied at 3. And for Garrett Degnan, that's a goal in 36 consecutive games, one off the program record.
Make this Virginia defense play off the ball. They're terrific defenders with their length and their range and their athletic ability, covering the man with the ball. But off ball, there's going to be some creases and crevices created by cutting and by moving and by changing the defensive assignments. That was just a well-timed cut by Degnan, the lefty, graduate student out of DeMatha.
14th goal for Degnan, 13th assist for Angelis, both those leading the team. Another win at X for Hopkins. That was Tyler Dunn, the senior from Pennsylvania. Leads to an open rip, and Hopkins takes the lead. Russell Melendez makes it 3 in a row for the Blue Jays. "14 seconds separate the goals by Degnan and Melendez."
This game's on pace for what, 20s each team. No one can make a stop right now. Hopkins, they're running. Casey McDermott does a good job. He steps in to the structure of the defense and demands the attention of the point man. And then he's got his eyes up. He delivers a strike to Melendez. And Melendez got all day to set his feet, to eye up Nunes. He sees 5-hole, and he blasts it through.
It's done again on the faceoff for Hopkins, and he wins it again. Now they got to clear. Always a challenge against Virginia.
Handling the punches right now, both these teams. Virginia with a 3-punch combination, a jab, punch, hook. Boyd and Cormier, Schellenberger. Then Hopkins comes back. Whop, whop, whop. You got to handle it. We saw last night in the ACC Ivy games. You can't lose your grip when the other team goes on that 3-goal run.
Yeah, how about last night, the results in college lacrosse? Duke upset by Penn. Blue Devils had been #1, so Virginia could be playing for that #1 ranking today. Now, Maryland might have something to say about that, too. They're #3. They get Notre Dame on the road tomorrow. If they win that game, maybe that's tough to avoid. That shot from Collison is off the mark, but kind of shocking so far, Q. The ACC has not been dominant in non-conference.
It's been a rough week. They've lost 4 consecutive games dating back to last Sunday when I was at in South Bend when Notre Dame lost to Georgetown. Cotter and I were out there. And Wednesday night, Army, what an epic game that was. Congratulations to West Point and the Cadets, Joe Alberici beating Syracuse in a great game. And then the Ivy last night taking down both ACC foes in Chapel Hill and Durham. Crazy night.
The Tobacco Road sweep for the Ivy League last night. Peshko got to hurry, 5 to shoot. Somehow, from an impossible angle, beats Nunes. It's 4 in a row for Hopkins, 2 today for Peshko, and they lead 5-3.
Virginia's defense has been bullying people this year on the ball. They've been dominant, winning their on-ball matchups, and they've been a defense that's capitalized on some well-timed double teams. They want to turn you and roll you back into trouble. But Hopkins is winning the one-on-one matchups. They're not being pushed around by this lengthy defense. And Peshko, who had been in kind of a little bit of a shooting slump coming into this game, buries the biscuit from a severe angle.
The UVA timeout with 4:02 to play in this first quarter. You mentioned Peshko, 51. He'd been shooting 15% for the season coming in, just 2 goals. He's got 2 goals today.
His 2 goals on the year came against DU, against Denver in that season opener. But since then, he had been in an 11-game shooting slump.
Well, here's what we were talking about with the ACC, Quint. Duke yesterday loses to Penn. Brendan O'Neill last night, 1 for 8 shooting, the reigning Tewaaraton winner. North Carolina with losses against Hopkins and Princeton. Notre Dame stunned by Georgetown, and then Syracuse has lost twice, granted both against top 5 teams.
2 things that stand out to me. Syracuse is an inch away. I mean, they lose to Maryland in overtime. They lose to Army in overtime. They have made improvements. They're much better in the middle of the field. They're much better facing off. I think they'll figure it out offensively. What stood out to me last night was Brendan O'Neill of Duke was basically a spectator in that game. You've got the best player in America, and he's limited to, what, 1 goal on 8 shots, but not much time with the ball on his stick. He's an automatic double team. He's got to be the guy for Duke, and their insistence on playing team offense. I'm watching that game. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
And what are the ramifications of that once we get to tournament time?
Well,
those non-conference losses.
If you remember back in 2002 when the Ivy League won all these non-conference early season games, then they go back into Ivy League play, and the way the RPI works, they populate amongst each other, and they all benefit. The interesting thing this year is ACC, 5 or 6 losses now out of conference, but they're by different folks.
Yeah.
Georgetown out of the Patriot League, nice win. Denver out of the Denver beat Hopkins. So each of the leagues looks like they're going to be ultra competitive.
Braun won the face-off for Virginia, which snapped a 4 face-off streak for Hopkins.
McIntosh, 18, has it near side here.
Another hidden ball.
McIntosh had, what, 6 goals against Hopkins? Was that last year?
Yeah, the senior from Palo Alto.
Biggest day of his career.
They're excited about him getting healthy. He's playing on that second midfield unit right now. Hard to break up the first midfield with how well they're playing. Got a scrum for it here behind the goal. It's picked up by Scott Smith.
That's big. That's big. A defensive stop, a ground ball out of traffic. Let's see if they can clear now and what Virginia has up their sleeve in terms of the 10-man ride.
Degnan, one of the captains, gets it across.
Beautiful clear.
And Melendez with a step. I believe Virginia wins the backup. They do. Good hustle by Mike Prestopino. And it's Who's ball with under 3 to play in this first quarter.
Late arriving crowd on the grassy knoll on the far side. We had rain all night. Most of this morning, it was chilly. This field has held up extremely well. No factor at all. I thought it might be guys, slipping and sliding and impacting the game, but man, they aerated this field and it's spectacular.
Does a great job draining. Peter Millman said he looked fantastic when they were warming up. Yeah, late arriving crowd on the knoll. They all thought it was going to be cold and rainy. It turns out it's 60 and sunny. Lights still on here at Klockner Stadium. On a pretty day, there's no better place to watch a lacrosse game. Here comes Schutz. Flips it back up top. Good ball movement. Ends up with Schellenberger, and he deposits it for Virginia's 4th goal today. And they needed that. Ends a 4-goal run for Hopkins.
This is team offense, and while people may say, Griffin Schutz, the junior out of Deerfield, is not putting up big numbers this year, well, here's his impact. He's the trigger man as he runs this ball down the right alley, draws the double team or the halfway slide by Hopkins. The ball goes through the top of the formation. Boom, 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 1-2. It's in and out of sticks. Feet set shot from mid-range. I mean, that is just terrific, basic offense. You press a wing, the defense reacts. They move their posture ball aside. You change the leverage with the passing.
For Schellenberger, it's his 2nd goal today and his 3rd shot. It's a push against Hopkins and UVA ball. Here comes Joey Terenzi, 5 and white. Gives it to Will Corey. And Terenzi runs off. Keep your eye on 5 throughout the day. Lars Tiffany told us he's becoming our new Ryan Conrad. That's high praise. At X, it's Truett Sunderland. Flips it back to Schellenberger. Looking for a first quarter hat trick. Goes to the question mark, slips against a double team. Leaps over a Blue Jay. It's still loose.
Oh, wow. Look at the hustle.
By Sunderland, and he gets it to a teammate, McIntosh. Leads to Schellenberger off balance, picked up by Erlin. That's 4 turnovers against UVA, still none for Hopkins. Can't clear it, though.
Those battles right there. These ground ball battles all mean so much in this contest.
And one of the Hopkins captains, Bowden Zulik, comes away with it. It's him and Degnan, the 2 captains. They were also captains last year. We're under a minute left in the first. You having fun, huh? It's a pretty good rivalry game. Got to get it across. Woo!
Yard sale in Charlottesville on a Saturday.
Ben Weyer takes it away from Scott Smith, who's usually doing that to other people. Cormier on the other end puts it home. We are tied. End-to-end action. The fact that Weyer had to flip Smith's stick off the ground to get the ball out of there. Physicality at X. Still up for grabs.
That goes a little momentum play. See if Hopkins has answers.
Done the face-off man to Angelis. Here's Casey McDermott, a 2-way midi for Hopkins. Nice move. Missed the shot, backed up by the Blue Jays. 7 seconds left in the first quarter.
It's a great idea from McDermott. Take a chance there with little time left.
Dylan Bauer on the restart. Last second chance. Nunes with the recovery. And we go to the second quarter, tied at 5. 3 ties and 2 lead changes.
Great tempo in this game. I mean, you got 2 teams battling for every inch of real estate. We've got shot making, playmaking, hits, skill. This game's got it all. With Schellenberger and Cormier, Cavaliers right now shooting really well. They're not wasting many shots. I got them at 5 of 8. Face-offs, an area we got to keep our eye on with Anthony Gabriel of Virginia out of the lineup today. Basically 50-50 after the first quarter.
Hopkins ball after the loose ball hold against Virginia. Now, you mentioned Virginia without Anthony Gabriel. Navy transfer is out today. The only guy who's won a faceoff for them so far is Gable Braun. He was 5 for 8 entering the second quarter. D'Souza 0 for 2, Colucci 0 for 1. As for Hopkins, it's been mostly Callahan with a little Tyler Dunn in there as well. Just a gorgeous day for lacrosse. About 60 degrees and sunny. Doyle Smith Cup is on the line today. This is the 97th meeting between these two. Collison surrounded and sandwiched. That's the second Hopkins turnover.
That's exactly what Virginia loves to do.
Oh, what a play by Joey Terenzi. Hit the deck and then popped up and made the grab.
Terenzi slips, hops up to his hip, keeps his eye on the ball and makes the catch. Nunes with the aggressive outlet, but I love the double team. Chismar stands up Collison. He refuses to let him run through him. He turns him, and then Virginia doubles.
Schellenberger loops the pass and shuts, goes top shelf. Who's back on top?
Cavs playing with emotion and great energy. Worried about that coming into this contest. It's been midterm week today. And let me tell you, Connor Schellenberger, you're open, he's going to find you. He is the nation's best passer. Left-handed lob pass right on the money, which allows the shooter to catch, crow hop, and shoot seamlessly. You think about being shot ready in basketball. They talk about receiving a pass shot ready, or the difference that a well-placed pass can make on the shot. And that's Schellenberger right there, just putting it in the premier spot.
A great passer puts it right in the pocket. It's already our 3rd lead change today. 3 goals in a row for UVA, and they win the faceoff.
Shelley's got all the passes. He's got darts. He'll zing it. He'll go sidearm. He'll go underhand. He'll go overhand. Tempo and location. He's got the knack to read every scenario.
Schutz emerges with it. Keeps it on this end for Virginia.
The definition of a good pass is one that gets caught.
There's a shot from Schellenberger.
If you're a young lacrosse player and you want to know what's a good pass, well, it's one that's on the money and gets caught.
And this guy, McCabe Millen, learning from Schellenberger. A skip pass. Again, it finds Schutz. Left-handed this time, same result. Back-to-back goals for Big 26. 4 in a row for Virginia.
This
Just 50 seconds apart.
Yeah, this assist, Drew. Ryan Colsey, the sophomore, who's a lefty, thought his game came to life against Richmond. This is a brilliant pass. Again, through the entire defense. Schutz has an outside howitzer. He's got a cannon, so the defense has to rush out to him. Well, he uses that threat. Little pump and go. He gets to the middle. Both guys, high end. Colsey, the lefty feed through traffic from weak side, from strong side to weak side, and then Schutz.
Good effort from Tyler Dunn, but he could not scoop it to Scott Smith, and it's Virginia ball.
There's symmetry on how both these teams got here. A battle-tested bunch, both teams in the month of February. But you sense that the level gets raised in this game a tad.
That was Tommy McNeil, the junior defenseman who just missed the shot. Virginia will set up the offense. For Hopkins playing 5 games in February, that's pretty out of the ordinary. Talking with Peter Milliman this week, our producer Ryan Fulham said, big early season game, and Milliman's like, it doesn't really feel like early season anymore. I've already played 5 times. Lost to Denver in overtime in the opener, a game they easily could have won, and then ripped off 4 wins in a row, all against good programs. Four straight goals for Virginia after it was a 5-3 Hopkins lead. And Chase Erlin credited with just 1 save so far. Millen on the rollback. Here's Schellenberger. A couple goals, a couple assists already today. The 2-time Tewaaraton finalist. Cormier, high catch. There's a save by Erlin. Rebound by Will Corey. A fresh 60 for UVA. Millen pegs a corner. Over to the grassy knoll.
Tell you, what Virginia has done exceptionally well in this game are the skip passes, the through passes from one side of the field to the other, the east-west action that they're getting. You know, good offenses attack north-south. They also attack east-west. Right now, Hopkins is sloughed in a little too much, and Virginia is killing them east-west.
Smith with the interception. 5th turnover for Virginia. Hopkins, one of the best clearing teams in the country. That's something to watch today. Blue Jays 94% clearing, 6th best in D1. Virginia opponent clear percentage is below 80, which is top 10 in the country. Hopkins clearing today is 6 for 6. There's Dylan Bauer from X. Now Grimes after the roll, lefty shot goes. Brendan Grimes had a hat trick at North Carolina last weekend. He's got his first one today, and it ends a 4-goal Virginia run.
Starts with defense. Sticks are up and in the passing lane. That's just a brilliant pickoff. And then at the other end, Bauer comes off the pick. Chismar hedges down a little. He's in good position. The rollback's there. That's typically when Virginia would double team. When you turn your back to this defense, they love to double from the adjacent man. And I think Chismar turns him there, anticipating that he's got help. Well, it doesn't come, and Grimes, the lefty, buries it from distance.
In a hurry, Hopkins ties the game. Tyler Dunn straight from the X to the promised land. 2 goals in 6 seconds for the visitors.
That's how it's done. The senior from Calvert Hall, he's their second option. He's kind of their relief pitcher when it comes to face-offs. Pumps the point man. He's not given the respect. The scrappy competitor. He's known as a guy with good exits and good speed. Typically, he won't win the clamp, but he's an awesome ground ball man, and he wins the war.
Well, Hopkins must like the matchup for Dunn today, because he's now taken 11 of the 15 faceoffs, and he's 7 for 11.
That was an issue last week in the Virginia-Ohio State game where there was some gamesmanship going on the faceoffs. Because of matchups, teams are hesitant to declare who their faceoff guy was, and they're kind of standing there on the sideline, they're looking at each other, and one team would send a guy out and the other team wanted a specific matchup, and then the initial team would pull their guy off and change the matchup. It almost got to the points where the refs had to intervene and say, hey guys, give me 2 men right now, or I'm going to hit you with a delay game penalty.
Is there a specific rule on that, Q? Because like in hockey, you get last change if you're the home team.
I'm not sure I'm not sure if there is.
4th stop for Matt Nunes. Here comes Cole Kastner. Lets it fly and scores! Plus the flag! The former ACC Defensive Player of the Year with a pole goal for Virginia.
Nunes all over that, pegs him in the chest, and then the rebound control comes up to the Wahoos. Cole Kastner is a 6'7" senior out of the Bay Area grew up in the shadows of Stanford University, and there's a shot next year he's going to take an extra year and play college basketball. But what stands out to me about Castner, I was talking to Coach Lars Tiffany about him yesterday. I said, Coach, who's your fastest guy in the 40? He goes, oh, Castner timed the fastest. I'm like, wait, that guy at 6'7" is the fastest guy on your team in the 40-yard dash? I'm like, no. He goes, yeah, he and Will Erdman had the fastest 2 times on the team.
That's amazing.
You'd never guess that at 6'7".
No.
And so it shows you what kind of athlete he is. Excellent high school basketball player.
It's his first goal of the season, his 4th of his career. Hopkins tried to answer with the freshman Quint Kilrain, looking for a pull goal of his own. Bauer on the backup.
And I was walking out of practice after snacking on a papaya on a rainy Friday afternoon on the practice fields here.
And that was the fruit they crushed after practice yesterday.
This team's got a great culture, don't they? They just like hanging out with their players, with their staff, like the way they approach everything, the business and the fun part of it.
More physical defense, ends up with Degnan, rips it from straight away, and buries another. Garrett Degnan has his 2nd of the day. We're tied for the 5th time in the first half.
Hagler, Hearns. I mean, it's just constant action. Great pass. I think it's Evans as he's falling, and Degnan is just kind of settled. He's hovering at the top of the formation. Let me tell you, this big lefty, you see the torque. You see he's got a slow release, but he's so gigantic. Long arms, the stick, the weight shifts from back to front. Man, he has got an absolute cannon.
Another battle for the face-off. Logan Callahan emerges with it, trying to match his fellow face-off man Tyler Dunn with a goal.
All gas, no breaks this game. Like last week, Georgetown beating Notre Dame. Georgetown had a plan to slow the game down. This one is like, we're speeding 65, 70, 75. And he kind of looking over like, you need to slow down. No, we're not going to slow down. Neither team wants to slow it down.
Where do you get all the tickets? What road is that? 29?
29.
Not anymore. This game is like how 29 used to be before the traffic.
Mr. Schellenberger, who used to drive Connor up to D.C. to play club lacrosse, said he never got a speeding ticket on 29. I'm like, you're crazy, Scott.
I don't know about that. I think Scott's asleep and Stephanie's driving. Five stops for Matt Nunes. Approaching the midway point of the 2nd quarter. It is 8-8. Just a treat so far. Rivalry matchup, Doyle-Smith Cup. Up for grabs today, a newly refurbished Doyle-Smith Cup, that is. Doug Terring, radio analyst for Virginia. Took it to a jeweler. They got a new base for it. It looks great. Shots on the shot. 5 for Griffin Schutz. And Virginia's back in front.
The pace of this game is relentless. I think at this stage, you're defensively like, what can we do to help our goalie out? What can we do defensively to maybe minimize the chance of offensive scoring? Because it's been all gas.
Well, Quint Kessenich, here's your chance. You want to amend that statement? You don't need a shot here?
Yeah, exactly.
2003.
Yeah. Johnny Christmas had other ideas. Here you see the two coaches, Peter Millman on the left, Lars Tiffany on the right. This is a special rivalry. That 1980 game was an overtime national championship game. I believe played maybe here at Scott Stadium. I'm not positive. I have to look that up. But the 2003 title game, M&T Bank Stadium, the semifinals that year drew, I don't know, 54,000, and then it rained. And Joe Beninati was our sideline reporter that day. His Capizio's got destroyed as Tillman Johnson made a zillion saves. The field conditions really changed the way that game was played. Virginia went zone, slowed the game down. And then the 05 game, that was a semi. That's one of the most crazy games that I can remember being associated with. A Hopkins comeback late. Miracle face-off win and a late goal.
Yeah, Virginia was up 1 with 12 seconds left.
Benson Irwin with the dirty bird.
Here comes Terenzi.
Hopkins winning in 05. Virginia comes back the next year and runs the table.
Terenzi turns and hits the crossbar after the give and go with Schellenberger.
2006 Cavs, arguably one of the best teams and dominant teams in Division I lacrosse history.
That's our friend Matt Ward Tuarton season, right?
Crushed everybody.
Yeah. Well, the Doyle Smith Cup up for grabs today. He was a student at Johns Hopkins, 5 years as a manager on their lacrosse program, then 30+ years here at UVA. It's the 97th meeting between these programs. Schellenberger goes to work from X. Got a step, sets it up for Terenzi. Saved by Erlin, his 4th save.
Terenzi stays on and plays a lot of offense. He's been really productive. He's a little bit of a jack-of-all-trades guy. He makes you uncomfortable defensively because you can't put a label on him. Offense, defense, he's just a great mid. He's only a sophomore. He redshirted last year. Manhasset, Long Island. Motor, relentless versatility.
5th in points and tied for 5th in ground balls on their team coming in today. We're talking with Peter Milliman this week. He said, of course, this one's a rivalry, but it feels like every game we play is a rivalry. I mean, you can't overhype it too much because what do you tell them next week when you play Syracuse?
You know, you go to Johns Hopkins, you go to Virginia to play a schedule that is loaded both out of conference and in conference. With games, you want to play in games that matter. Like, where do you want to be today? Well, you want to be in Klockner or you want to be back in Baltimore at Homewood Field playing in a game in front of people and a game that matters. That's why you go to these institutions.
Milliman in year 4 at the helm of Hopkins, came over from Cornell.
And when you have, Drew, a whole week to get ready for one game, it's a lot like college football. Maybe Sunday you're a little burnt out, Monday you recharge. By Thursday and Friday, you get the field and you're ready to go.
Yeah, Q, I mean, no place we'd rather be for a lacrosse game right now.
Except the band's not here, they're on spring break. That brass section is epic. Love them, my favorite.
Busy day here on campus. We got baseball going on behind us, softball in progress as well. Popping over here. Dan and Shea had a concert last night. Grounds, excuse me, Collison.
Everything but the finish.
Here's Peshko. Dagnana scored twice already. Angelis from X. Under 10 to shoot. Nunes with another stop. Fight for it. Nunes out of the crease.
Carnage.
He pounced.
Nicely read by Nunes. Potential high hit.
Yeah, Bauer's going to get flagged. 2 flags out.
Players have to change their technique when hitting. If you come with a cross-check motion, you're typically going to get fouled for direct contact to the head or neck area. Let's see if they label this indirect or direct. You've got to swivel your hips and use your shoulders, or take the joust position where you're more pointing the stick and coming in with a forearm.
There's Peter Buchanan.
Black, number 7, legal body check to the head. 1 minute, full time. Previous play, second review.
They're going to take a look at this. For now, it's 1 minute full time, Dylan Bauer. And are they taking a peek to see if they might upgrade this, Quint?
Yeah, I mean, to me, that angle doesn't show how high it is, but if he gets him above the V in Virginia, I could see them upgrading this to a 2 minute for direct contact to the head or neck area. Again, the cross-check motion is going to really capture the eye of the official. If you're a young player, you've got to change your posture. Go with more of a joust position, or hit hockey style, more with your shoulder, and avoid the cross-check motion.
So if you don't turn your body, Quint,
swivel. You have to swivel your hips as opposed to coming in square.
After review, ruling on the field stands. A legal body check, 1 minute, full time. It's going to be UVA ball.
All right, so So it is 1 minute for Bauer. Will Urban, the freshman, number 20 in white, takes this hit.
Non-releasable penalties have become a real theme of this season.
Does it seem like it's working?
It's got to, somewhere along the line, it's got to change player behavior to be effective. And I've had some people say, well, they should treat it like hockey. Give them all a minute for these hits, but then give them a 5-minute where the player can't play for 5 minutes. Maybe they said maybe that'll be more impactful. The Denver Hopkins game decided on a 2-minute non-releasable call that carried over into overtime. Last week's game, Notre Dame against Georgetown, there were, what, 3 unreleasable multi-minute penalties. So these multi-minute penalties really can change games.
And ultimately, the goal of the more severe penalty is to deter in the future. I've not really seen that so far. Nice play. It's Scott Smith in the mix. Across midfield, Hopkins takes it away, and that is a big cause turnover. They can kill the rest of this minute penalty. A whistle, and it's Virginia ball.
A box substitution infraction.
Costly mistake for Hopkins. Virginia gets 30 more seconds on the man up. Now we get a whistle and a timeout called by Lars Tiffany.
Low in the action, huh? We've been stuck on 9-8 for what, like 3 minutes?
You guys are falling asleep out there. Last goal was 7:46. It was Schutz's third of the second quarter. All right, so we mentioned his name a couple times, Doyle Smith. If you're maybe new to the sport, you might be wondering, who is Doyle Smith? Well, if you think about lacrosse statistics and really lacrosse moving to the forefront, you can thank this guy. He graduated from Johns Hopkins in the 60s. He spent 5 years in total as a team manager for their lacrosse program. He's from Corvallis, Oregon. Didn't grow up around the sport. Believed to be the only person who never played or coached to be inducted into the Lacrosse Hall of Fame back in 2000. You see, he spent over 3 decades here at UVA as an SID, Sports Information Director, helping really modernize lacrosse statistics and organize them, Q. And he's obviously got a huge impact here at UVA. And
he and Coach Starsia there in '99 when Virginia won the championship. You know, Doyle was always up here in the press box. He cared. He had huge care for the sport of lacrosse. And you think about what he did back in the 70s and 80s, okay, accumulating statistics, standardizing how lacrosse scoring was done. He did it all without a cell phone, without a computer, without Word. So his office, he would be on the phone all day Sunday, manually writing down or mailing things to different schools, up to UMass, up to Syracuse. So you just think about what he accomplished in that time period. It's not as easy as today. You send an email, you send a text, you can send a PDF file. So just an amazing investment in the game.
Millen from a sharp angle bounces it in, and Virginia takes advantage on the man up, and their lead is back to 2.
Great timeout by Lars Tiffany, and excellent job by Kevin Kessenich, their offensive coordinator. To just take a deep breath, and they keep it simple. Virginia has been lethal on set pieces off of timeouts this year, Drew, whether it's extra man or all even. There's been 2 or 3 wrinkles a game that Coach Kessenich, who's their new OC, former head coach at Lehigh, he's put in, and it's made this offense a stronger unit.
And now plus 50% on the man up for the season. The wonder kid, McCabe Millen, is on the board. Remember, that penalty was non-releasable against Hopkins, so still 12 seconds left on the man up. Hopkins has won 5 faceoffs in a row. Gable Braun and Tyler Dunn. Braun sweeps it to a teammate. Virginia ball. Ben Weyer coming in from the wing. Another chance on the man up. It's Schellenberger. Steps into one. Denied by Erlin. His pass deflected. Right on the crease. Millen got a piece. Weyer scoops it. Cormier couldn't handle the pass. And Hopkins survives with Bowden Zulik.
The outlet pass nearly picked by the Virginia attackman who was riding with his stick up. It's important as a goaltender. Treat it like you're a quarterback in football and you're in the pocket. Sometimes you got to move your feet to create that lane of vision. You don't want to throw the ball through sticks. Take the extra half beat and step around that defensive end who's got his hands up in your face.
It all started with the save by Erlin, his 5th in the second quarter, 6th of the game. And as we come up on 2:30 left in the second, 2-goal lead for the home team. A win here, Virginia could be the #1 team in the country after Duke's loss yesterday.
It's a nice job by Weyer, 44 in white, who's had a spectacular first month of the season. Rugged, mountain man, walks a lot of miles.
Well, he looks small next to his teammates on close D. Weyer's 6'3". Other guys are 6'6", 6'7".
6'7", 6'6", and 6'5", starting D. You add Weyer to the mix.
Millen peels it out.
No one hasn't tested his matchup against Kilrain.
Schutz with a sidewinder shot, another save for Erlin. That's 6 in the second quarter. You think Millen will be more aggressive in the second half?
I think the team offense has been effective. It's worked. There've been a lot of wing dodges. They start on a wing, kick it up through the top of the formation, and then to the weak side.
Both teams with 21 shots exactly today. Fight for it on the end line.
It's a nice double team by Zulik, 44 in black.
Yeah, push against Virginia. Hopkins ball. Zulik, the grad student from Avon, Connecticut, went to AOF, Lacrosse powerhouse.
The Wing Beavers. It's their mascot.
Learn something new every day.
Trailer break.
Another save by Matt Nunes. It was Jimmy Ayers, the freshman, flying out of the box. 6 saves for Nunes today. Again, great hustle by Virginia before the ball trickles out of bounds, and it is Cavaliers' ball.
I'll tell you, the game has slowed down for Matt Nunes now, a junior out of Houston. Always been an extremely talented goalie, great physical skills, but the mental game now, he's not cheating or leaning. I thought he had an outstanding game against Ohio State last week. He's always been a superb clearing goaltender. And I think the work, obviously maturity and comfort now, the sport will slow down for you, through your college career, but also having Coach Kessenich come over from Lehigh has helped out quite a bit. I spoke to Matt on my podcast during the fall, and he was really complimentary. Coach Kessenich, if you go back, Lehigh's produced some good goalies. And Kessenich knows how to train goalies.
Well, folks, coming up at halftime, it's the Cross with Charlotte North and Paul Carcaterra. They discuss the players with the most style in men's and women's lacrosse.
Clark and Charlotte, there's like 2 shooters and only 1 ball. They need a feeder.
You know what they need is a goalie.
We need to add a trio. We need to add somebody to that to make it a trio. They need a feeder.
They need a goalie to shoot on.
No,
you.
I want
you
no
sign up?
I want no part of either of those shooters.
I once made a bet with Charlotte North. Syracuse was playing BC in the Final Four. I think this was last year. And if I lost, my alma mater lost, I had to get in goal and take shots from Charlotte North. And
you want no part of that.
I still have not paid that bet.
Yeah, you want no part of that.
I don't think I ever will.
I watched parts of the game on Thursday night, Northwestern against BC. Also saw a really good ACC game last week, Virginia and North Carolina, right here on this field. Virginia's got a new coach, and the program looks like it's headed in the right direction.
Sure, yeah. We got 45 seconds left in the second quarter here. Virginia leading by 2. Shot clock is off. The 10-man here for Hopkins. Chase Erlin is out of his crease.
He's out of the goal.
Kessenich to Chismar. Virginia with the clear. Look at Chismar digging his way through the Hopkins D. Under 30 seconds left in the second. Cormier scored twice already.
Virginia going to sub here, but time's a ticking.
Yep, 20 seconds left. Schutz has 3 goals in the second quarter. Gotta hustle. Colsey. Below GLE, it's Millen. Under 10 seconds left in the first half. Schellenberger, 5 seconds. Tried to feed the middle in Cormier. And that's how the first half comes to a close. Starting to get chippy. Cormier in the center. Exchanging words with Scott Smith. Hopkins goes scoreless in the last 9 minutes and 8 seconds. 0 for their last 6 shooting, and Virginia leads by 2 at the break.
You want no part of Cormier in the ring. He is a vicious, vicious fighter in the indoor game.
Out of Oakville, Ontario.
And then some slow transition. But again, you know, transition goals are transition goals in this game. They're going to happen. Extra man goals are just extra man goals, as you see Cole Kastner score in that transition. But I think the biggest challenge now will be who can find some answers in the half-field defensive sets. If I'm Johns Hopkins, I think they're sliding too early and too often. They're creating offense, especially off these high wing dodges. And if you're the Cavs, you've done a pretty good job off ball, and you've managed your matchups.
So you think Johns Hopkins maybe needs to slide a little bit less because Virginia is such a good ball movement team?
Yeah, I think a couple times Hopkins has gotten caught going halfway. Again, when Virginia has hit him with that wing dodge, they've gone double team. They've been a second late, and it's allowed that player to swing the ball across the top of the formation and to the weak side. Think about how many Virginia goals in this game have come on feet set shot, where defenders are not impacting vision, hands, or body of the shooter. And so while both of these goalies have been up against it in this game, this is not a goalie-friendly game. Yeah. I feel for them because, again, you got hands-free, time, room, bullseye type action.
8 assists on 10 goals for Virginia. You see they've won 3 in a row in this series. They played for the Doyle Smith Cup since 2006. Doyle, the legendary sports information director for both these schools.
So when you think about defense, we can make a basketball equation. Again, it's hands in the face. It's challenge jumpers as opposed to catching, catching in rhythm and shooting uncontested. There's been way too many uncontested shots in this game from mid-range.
A couple beneficiaries for Virginia. Griffin Schutz had a hat trick in the second quarter. Cormier's got 2 goals. Schellenberger has 2. Cole Kastner scored a goal in the first half for UVA. Meanwhile, for Hopkins, Garrett Degnan has a couple. Peshko with 2. Melendez, Collison, Grimes, Dunn on the board.
Symmetry there. Both these teams go deep in terms of scoring output.
Hopkins had the edge at the faceoff X in the first half, and they win the first one here with Tyler Dunn. It's been mostly number 30 in black as opposed to Callahan. And Dunn has been successful now. 13-8 Hopkins at the X.
Look at Ware.
It's all over Casey McDermott.
Yeah, every inch, every blade of grass, you're going to be challenged against this Virginia D in space.
You see Hopkins cold to finish that first half. Didn't score in the last 9+ minutes of the second quarter. Here's Dylan Bauer, senior from Utah, who had an assist in the first half. Jacob Angelis at X keeps the hot potato moving. Russell Melendez had a goal in the first half as well.
Virginia steps out into space. Look at him challenge all the way into the top of the box.
Chase Yeager defends Collison. Angelis back to Peshko. On the invert, the midfielder from X tries to scoop it home. And Bauer wins the backup. 23 to shoot.
I go back to Collison against Yeager here. There's a little bit size advantage. Yeager, the graduate student out of Harvard, is an exceptional defensive player. Great athlete, super speed, but there's a size differential here. Let's see if Collison uses his hips and his shoulders to get topside.
Collison 6'4", 225, Yeager 5'10", 175. That's still the matchup. Good call, Q. Collison trying to get his hands free.
Yeager. See how low he stays on his hip there, Drew?
Low man wins there, under 10 to shoot. Here's Peshko. Got the short stick matchup against Terenzi with a step. He missed the shot, didn't hit anything, so just 2 to shoot on the backup. Hopkins has missed 8 shots in a row. Give a lot of credit to Matt Nunes, and they just ice it here. So a good defensive possession to start the second half for Virginia.
Fans here respecting defense. This is an an extremely sharp fan base. Love it when the band's here playing after goals. They'll start banging on the aluminum, but they know their lacrosse. They know the subtleties, the importance of a clear. They know the importance of a shot clock violation.
Been a good start to the season for Virginia, 3-0 in February, all against ranked teams, Michigan, Richmond, and Ohio State. 3 of their first 4 against Big Ten foes.
Set play off the start of this quarter right
Worked
there.
to perfection, but Boyden couldn't handle the pass. Millen comes away with it, bouncing off defenders. Finds Schellenberger, gets it to Cormier. In tight, hitting a pipe. It was Ryan Colsey. And Erlin with the stop. The experienced goalie, Chase Erlin, with his 8th save of the day. Hopkins on the clear. Here comes Brett Martin, their top short stick D midi.
Hopkins D has got to kind of change their mentality and let Virginia attack the goal, make Virginia's midfielders score unassisted goals. I think the Wahoos are an exceptional passing team. Too many times in this game, this Hopkins defense has double teamed or hedged or gone halfway and not gotten there, and they've been beaten with ball movement.
How about this matchup? Angeles against Kastner. You got 5'9" Angeles against 6'7" Kastner. Now Grimes against the freshman Will Erdman. As a short stick matchup, back to X and Angeles. Plays the 2-man with Grimes. Under 20 to shoot. Melendez stuffed by Nunes. 7 saves for the junior from Texas, and it's Virginia ball.
Hopkins bench claiming that that was still a shot, but the player changed the direction and momentum of that loose ball.
Erdman finds it. Freshman from Norwalk, Connecticut. Here's Noah Chismar. Lots of space. Sails it high. Good effort from Erlin on the backup, but it's won by Millen and UVA.
Chismar loves to stay on and play offense, doesn't he?
A takeaway by Zulik. Here comes the captain.
Trailer potential. Nice job by Virginia's defense to hustle back and even things up.
Melendez trying to go by big John Schroeder, 6'5", 225. Celebrated a birthday yesterday, just like Peyton Cormier. Again, Collison draws Yeager. Out of the box, it's Dylan Bauer. What a roll. Good recovery by Terenzi, who's everywhere for Virginia.
Virginia will have to support this matchup. Bauer's got quicks.
Well, Terenzi stuck to him like glue. Good skip. Peshko buries it. It's a hat trick for Jonathan Peshko. Came in with 2 goals in their first 5 games. He's got 3 today. And Hopkins has their first goal in almost 15 minutes of action.
Cause and effect. Sticks up in the passing lane. Great one-handed snag. And then clear at the other end. You know, Virginia's been putting the pole on Bauer, 7 in black for most of this game. Hopkins got a change in this matchup. And then Bauer presses the corner, draws all the eyes and the posture of the defense. See all those white jerseys? Cheat towards the ball side of the field. Bauer does a really good job. He delivers a strike across the formation. And Peshko's got the hot hand with 3.
Hopkins wins another. Dunn's got 1 goal today. He missed that shot, but backed up by Angeles, and Hopkins continues to own the possession battle. Looked like Mitchell Whalen was a little hobbled running off for Virginia.
Maybe he got stepped on.
And Hopkins cashes in. 19 seconds apart. Back-to-back goals, and it's Hunter Chavette, the freshman from Shaker Heights, Ohio.
He's not gotten many runs in this ball game. 34 in black, the freshman. But when you talk about a shooting stroke, I think about guys like Coulter Mackesy, and then I think about Chavette. I mean, the confidence from big-time distance, that's 15 plus, shooting off the hip of the defender, and look at the location. Nunes gets no stick movement towards that shot, but he paints that lower corner. A gutsy shot by Chavette.
Chavette had a hat trick in each of his first 2 career games at Hopkins. First Blue Jay to do that since 1975, Mike O'Neal. Virginia wins the faceoff. We've got our 6th tie today. Just over 5 minutes into the 3rd quarter. And you see Noah Chismar trying to stay loose on the sideline.
He didn't play last week against Ohio State.
Yep. Or as Tiffany said, he's too tough to sit out this one. Shots on the feed. Cormier winds it, kicked aside. Erlin, rebound, Boyden. He thought that went in. It somehow stayed out. And Erlin snuffs it out.
I think this is where Erlin's experience comes in. I watched Hopkins scrimmage UMBC in late January, and he had a rough outing, and I kind of was thinking about it for a while, and it hit me. I'm like, oh, that's no big deal. Chase has played in the national championship game. He's got 55 games under his belt. You know what? I was like, oh yeah, he's going to be good against Maryland. He's going to be good against Virginia. He'll be good when the money's on the table, when the money's on the line. I think you're seeing that here in the second half. Both these goalies saw a lot of tough shots early, and they both seem no worse for wear, right?
Erlin, an experienced dude. You mentioned the national championship he played in 2022 for Cornell. Peter Milliman's old program. 9 saves today for Chase Erlin. And a takeaway for Virginia. It was Tommy McNeil, 21 in white, who came away with it. Here comes Terenzi. Gets it back from Cormier and puts it in. Joey Terenzi, flex on him. Kid's like the Tasmanian devil out there. He is everywhere.
They love him here in Charlottesville. The sophomore, Mr. Excitement, Mr. Early Offense.
Back here at Klockner Stadium, Virginia leads 11-10 midway through this 3rd quarter. Joey Terenzi just scored for the Hoos after our 6th tie of the day. Virginia back in front by 1. And here is the top 10. Virginia's got a shot to go to that #1 spot, Q, after Duke lost yesterday.
Wow, cue up David Bowie. We got changes. Duke's out of there. They lost. This is just too much action. You know, Maryland and Notre Dame play tomorrow on Sunday. There's going to be some reaction there. The Cuse dropped their 2nd overtime game. I think this week's poll, which you can read on Monday, but comes out on Monday. I think this is tough. This is the time of the year where the sample size is still pretty small. You got all kinds of results. It's really hard right now.
And you've got to make your own poll, right?
Yeah.
Erlin got a piece of that. A shot from Ben Weyer. Defenseman playing offense. All right, I'm going to put you on the spot, Quint. Let's say Virginia wins today.
I got to go back and look at it. Maryland, Virginia.
Yeah, if Virginia wins today and Maryland wins tomorrow, that would be tough for the #1 spot.
Don't they play soon?
They do. A couple weeks from now. In College Park, March 16th. Schellenberger on the feed. Schutz had some space, gives it up. Millen, the freshman, lost it out of bounds.
It's a tough question. I think the resume would probably say Maryland. I think my eye test and my gut would say Virginia. So I can think Virginia's a better team. Are you the type of person that ranks the better team higher, or do you strictly rank it by resumes?
Well, you're the one who does the top 20. How do you do it?
Feel.
Good answer. I mean, it's your own poll. You've got your headshot.
Well, I think Virginia would be favored in a game over Maryland.
Okay. Pass picked off. It's Ben Weyer again. He's all over the place.
No numbers. Maybe a subtle little slow break behind it right here.
The trailer is Colesy, who scored in every game this year until today. Gives it up. Schellenberger whistles it past the cage.
Wow, he wants that one back. I tell you, he wants that one back. Nice little slow play of that fast break. Hopkins got away with one there. That was a horrendous subbing situation for the Jays. They're kind of jogging in, and Virginia's got numbers on them. Not sure what was going on there.
See Schellenberger with the 6 shots, couple goals. He came in shooting 21%, a career 36% shooter. And Lars told us this week, I think Schellenberger's a little bit frustrated with his shooting numbers. He wants to score goals. Shots couldn't vacuum it up. Zulik says, I'll take that. Gets it ahead to Matt Collison. And here come the Jays. They've got the trailer situation of their own. Brandon Aviles, the Syracuse transfer, 10 in black, gives it back to Collison.
I just find it interesting. Bauer, 7 in black, has been drawing the pole in this game.
There's the call from Hollywood. Peter Buchanan.
Second substitution penalty against Johns Hopkins. And now a flag on the far side.
So Hopkins had too many.
Black 16, illegal procedure, delay a game, check foul 30. Black 16, illegal procedure, check foul 30.
They get Collison for that.
Drop the ball. Drop the ball and give the opposing team their required yardage. The details and the little things matter in these big games.
30 seconds on the man up for Virginia. They're better than 50% on the season. Millen scored on the extra man in the first half. That was the final goal of the second quarter. Look at the ball movement. Another flag is out. So this one's against Hopkins. Shots for Schellenberger.
Giving Millen some yardage here for a shot.
Shots tried to skip the pass.
That's okay, knowing that the flag's down. You can take a chance. It's kind of like a free roll.
Yeah. That's Scott Smith. That's a big loss, not just because it puts Virginia on the man up, but because Smith probably their best close defenseman, him and Zulik.
Usually the officials will give you a verbal warning on that. Constant communication between officials and interior defenders.
First penalty expires, 1 man up. There's Colesy. Missed it high and outside, backed up by Boyden.
Got to impact shooters if you're the Jays defense. Hands free, feet free, eyes free. Just too easy for these perimeter shooters.
There's a lot of discussion from the peanut gallery here. Peter Buchanan will clear it up.
No, everything's good. Clock operator, shot clock is supposed to be at 60 before the restart. Please bring it down to 48 seconds on the shot clock. 48 seconds on the shot clock, please. Everything else is correct.
These guys were all working other games last night, right?
This is a strong crew. I mean, anytime Hollywood's on the scene, you know it's a big game.
Well, you know, Buchanan was getting some TV time yesterday at the Duke game. Duke Penn. Virginia has another. And Ryan Colesy has scored in every game this season. They take advantage on the man up. Their lead is back to 2.
Effective extra mans have always a good threat on the inside. This time it's the lefty Colesy who places himself in the middle of the nucleus of this Hopkins defense. The check is there, it's just a little late. Stabner gives Colesy too much freedom. Gives him a free pass inside for the quick one-touch. Ryan Colesy now he's a sophomore. Didn't play much last year. I believe he may have redshirted. He's becoming the player that Coach Tiffany thought he would be. Really, really improved.
A flag against Virginia. Delayed penalty coming. Here's Peshko, who scored 3 times today. So when Virginia touches it here, they'll blow the whistle and call the foul against Virginia. Hopkins will go to the extra man for the first time today. Angeles around the Ayers pick.
Angeles been quiet. Kastner doing a fine job.
They got him for just 1 assist. Angeles came in with 12 and 12.
You're not going to win very many matchups against this Virginia close defense.
That was a great look. Melendez to Peshko, missed the shot, but now we'll get the penalty call against Virginia.
If you're going to beat Virginia, you're going to have to score from the midfield. I think their close defense might be the best in the country. I love their attack.
It's Ben Weyer, a minute for a slash.
A hatchet job on the hip. Got a sense in this third quarter that the referees wanted to rein this game in and kind of assert some control.
First time with the extra man today for Hopkins.
Shut off on the far side, Degnan, 40, who carries his man inside now.
Yep, that's Chismar following him around. Good to see 34 in white back out there after he was on the bike on the sideline. Collison. Here's Melendez. Back to Angeles. 3 in black is Stu Phillips, a man-up specialist for Hopkins. Great ball movement, and Collison pots it. 2 goals for Matt Collison today. Johns Hopkins scores with the extra man, 12-11.
Outstanding recognition of what's going on with Degnan shut out. Hopkins sets up their formation. They're really patient, some snappy passing, and Collison puts himself in the middle, in the epicenter of that 4-man Virginia rotational defense. That's where it's going to be vulnerable. Angeles delivers a strike to the lefty sophomore.
Just after we talked about Angeles being quiet, he picks up his 2nd assist today. Team high 14 on the season.
That's a good job because Virginia mixes things up there. They throw a little curveball, shutting off Degnan, the great outside shooter. Well, Hopkins has answers. We got solutions. You want to shut them off? Fine. We got a nice set. We're going to work it around. We know exactly what's happening. Boom, boom, boom. Ball's in the back of the net. A little chess match.
Callahan wins the faceoff.
Yeah, this is what surprised me. Virginia's pulled Bauer. He's such a catalyst and playmaker for Hopkins. More of a passer than a goal scorer. They don't want to slide to 7 in black.
We're on the 2-man for Max, and the shot by Angeles hits the pipe. That would have tied the game. Whalen gets it back to Nunes.
Effective pick set for Angeles. His best look of the day.
Angeles still without a goal at 12 in their first 5 games. Virginia
doesn't give you very much time to relax and feel comfortable. Look at the beautiful mountains here. Monticello over our right shoulder. Like, they're constantly in attack mode. That early offense phase is dangerous.
Thomas Menke, 2 in white, stayed out there. He'll have to chase this one down. And he keeps it in. Maintains possession, tightrope in the sideline. Hopkins bench explodes, saying he was out of bounds. Schellenberger had it poked free. Brandon Aviles on the takeaway from one of the best players in the country. 13 turnovers for Virginia today.
Strong defense. Hopkins now playing a deeper stable of short stick defensive midfielders. In their loss to Denver, it was Juronsky and Martin all day long, and those guys got tired. Well, now we're seeing Aviles. We're seeing Jackson Raposo. We're seeing more bodies.
They play 7 shorties. Hunter Juronsky, Cody Ince, who's back from injury. Deep rope unit for Hopkins. Under a minute left in the third. Shot clock is off. Both teams have taken 31 shots. Virginia leads by 1. Grimes with the short stick. Yeager makes his move with 20 on the clock. Back to Collison, picks it up, shoots. Nunes the save, can't find it. Picked up by Ware. 9 saves for Matt Nunes. Here's Schellenberger, just under 10 seconds left in the third. Yeager on the run, shoots, saved by Erlin. Let's go to the fourth. 12 saves for Chase Erlin, 12 goals for Virginia. Put 15 minutes on the timer and buckle your seatbelt. If you love lacrosse, you can't ask for anything more on the second day of March. 12-11 Virginia. Here we go.
Competitive, and all the expectations for this game this day is Hopkins is back, and they're going to stand toe-to-toe with Virginia and make this a 60-minute game. I think we've seen that.
That's what it is. We enter the fourth quarter. It's 12-11 Virginia. Both teams have taken exactly 32 shots. It has been evenly matched from the jump.
Feels like the defenses in that third quarter settled down, had a better plan, gave their goalies a chance to make some stops, Drew. It was a shooting gallery in the first half. It was I felt, you feel for both goalies. They were getting shredded. That third quarter, both of them played great, but they got help from their D.
It was 10-8 Virginia at halftime. Now 12-11 as we start the fourth. See the 12 saves for Hopkins and Chase Erlin. He only had 1 in the first quarter, so 11 in the second and third. And we've got ourselves a tie game. Jonathan Peshko with his 4th of the day. 12-12, early fourth.
Slick little two-man play between Collison and Peshko. Blue Jay Bananas are here in full force. Little over-the-shoulder toss. Peshko cuts. Defender got poor leverage. Terenzi's on the inside. Not much he could do about that as Peshko cuts through his face. He gets in front of him. And Collison puts that perfectly out into space, and Peshko's had a big day.
This is our 7th tie of the afternoon. Callahan wins the face-off clean. Melendez peels it back. So for Jonathan Peshko, it's 4 goals today. He had 2 goals entering.
Both against Denver, week 1.
Yeah, so how's that to break out of your drought?
Ayers has got wheels, 4 in black. 2 goals last week against Carolina.
His first career points, the freshman out of South Hamilton, Mass. Here he is, 4 in black against Erdman. That one trickles through, and Hopkins is back in front. It's a hat trick for Garrett Degnan.
Offensive coordinator John Crawley puts Ayers into the game, as he did last week, and they go to the invert, whether it's a double invert or single. This one's a double invert. He and Angelis back there. Ayers presses right-handed, really well-timed cut from Degnan. And I thought we'd see more of this today. I thought against this Virginia defense, Hopkins would get the ball behind and try to beat him with cutters. Capitalize on Virginia being so strong on the ball, but not as proficient off of it.
Johns Hopkins leads for the first time since the first quarter. And they win another faceoff. Now 19-10. Keep in mind, no Anthony Gobriel today for Virginia. Navy transfer came in at 65.5%. He is out. Again, attacking the short stick matchup, it's Collison. Angelis trying to shake free of Kastner, who's done a great job today. Now Peshko against Terenzi. 4 goals for the senior from Ontario, Peshko. 30 to shoot. Collison gets some space. It's deflected in. Melendez might have gotten a piece of that on its way in. That looked like a hockey goal. It's 14-12 Hopkins. 4 in a row since the third quarter for the visitors.
Hopkins has really kept their poise offensively, and structurally, they're doing some nice things. They set up a pick for Collison, a strong screen right here by Peshko. Look at what that does. It allows him to turn the corner. The importance of setting great picks, huge. Virginia doesn't communicate. Well, that leads to the shot. And Nunes catches a little bad luck there because I think it may have hit one of his defender sticks. Looked like the ball kicked from hip height to feet height.
My fault. I thought it might have hit Melendez, but maybe it did hit someone from Virginia. Hopkins had won 5 faceoffs in a row until that violation. Finally, Virginia possession. Thomas Colucci, the grad transfer from Colgate, took that faceoff for UVA.
What do you do now if you're the Cavs? You've given up 4 straight goals. Connor Schellenberger, you'd like to see the ball in his cross on this possession.
Yeah, Q. Schellenberger scored 2 goals in the first quarter. Hasn't scored since. Virginia hasn't even taken a shot in this fourth quarter. We're over 3 minutes in. Hopkins, meanwhile, is 3 for 3 on the other side.
Look, I get scheme. We saw it last night with Duke and Brennan O'Neill. But at some point, you got to get the ball to your best player.
Schellenberger, 1 and white. He's out top. Millen still has it here. Skips a pass to Schellenberger. He feeds shots, and Erlin slams the door. What a save for the transfer from Cornell. He has 13 of them today.
Really well read by Chase, and the Hopkins bench now can sense it. They can feel this game spinning. I tell you, Erlin stayed true. He stayed honest on that. There was no cheating involved there because everything said shoot to the far post, and he brought it back to the near post, and Chase shut it down. Not overthinking it, just being truthful with that ball in the pocket. Don't guess.
Degnan couldn't handle the pass. Virginia ball.
Virginia's going to roll out their first midfield again. This will be a storyline later in the year, the lack of a complementary midfield production when the weather heats up, when you got to win 2 games in 3 days. It's a long-term question mark. Depth of scoring for the Virginia midfield.
Top midfield line is Schutz, who's got it now. Ryan Colsey and Jack Boyden. All those guys have scored today. Here's Colsey. Boyden feeds Schutz, rips it off the side of the net. We got a mom goal here at Klockner. Everyone thought it was in. Aviles, the trailer.
Jays will sub. That was the pattern for Virginia that we saw a lot of in the first half. Wing to wing. They attack one wing through the top of the formation to the weak side.
You like that shot if you're Lars Tiffany?
It's okay. Key now for Hopkins is keep attacking. Keep attacking. Play with your hair on fire and maintain it on fire. Like Penn did last night against Duke. They did not stall with the lead.
And no prevent offense.
Keep scoring.
Blue Jays have scored 4 in a row. Angelis. Back up top, it's Bauer. Again, drawing the long stick assignment, which leaves Collison on a shorty, and he's burned him today with 3 goals.
It's a challenge for Terenzi. He's given away, what, 80 pounds?
Yeah, Collison, the 6'4" sophomore, wild shot. 8 to shoot as Angeles wins the backup. Terenzi was all up in his business.
Great defense by Terenzi.
Angeles after the roll, back up top. Bowers scoops it. Nunes gobbles it up.
Trouble now.
Look out, Terenzi feeds Ware. Gets it back.
Respect Terenzi now in all these scenarios. He's a dangerous, and he's got a little trickery up his sleeve too.
Well, he's already scored once today, his 5th goal of the season. I can't believe he didn't do the hidden ball there with Corey. Schellenberger wheels around.
He's got fresh legs, doesn't he? You can tell he wants to go.
Good matchup here against the captain for Hopkins, Zulik, 44 in black. Trying to shake him. Can't do it. Great defense from Bowden Zulik. Back to X, and McCabe Millen has his man hung up. Schellenberger thought about the shot, gives it to Cormier. Hopkins keeping their shape here. Cormier turns. Millen picks up the shot. He shoots. He misses. Backed up by McIntosh. 24 on the timer.
Good O. And a smart timeout by Pete Milliman, who understood that his defense was very much on the ropes.
Dead ball time. Milliman's team has scored 4 goals in a row. They've kept Virginia scoreless since 4:47 of the 3rd quarter. Whose ball with 24 to shoot when we return to Klockner? What do you think we see from Kevin Cassis and Virginia out of this timeout?
Well, they do like some set pieces off of timeouts, some really structured plays. I sense that Schellenberger's got to be involved. I think he's got really good juice in his legs. He looks eager. He looks like he wants to take this game over.
He's the trigger man against Scott Smith. Somehow gets through the double. Floats the pass for Millen. His shot stopped by Erlin. Plucked out of the air by Patrick Deans, and the long stick mid, he still has it. 14 saves for Chase Erlin.
What a clutch save.
That was a big one.
Clutch, clutch, clutch. The outside bounce shot on this natural grass surface, trying to use the earth, and he got a good skip. It kicked up. But those bounce shots are saved with body. Your stick's got to protect low. If the ball kicks like it did there, Erlin takes that off the chest or the shoulder.
The sun has dried out this field and maybe made the bouncer skip off a little bit more. Erlin, though, makes his 7th save of the 2nd half. He's only allowed 2 goals since halftime, when it was 10-8 Virginia. Hopkins with the rock, up by 2, past the midway point of this 4th quarter. Shots dead even, 37 for each team. Dylan Bauer still against a close defenseman, Ben Ware. Now Collison, after he scarfed down a banana on the sideline. Still has Terenzi. Active stick by Mike Prestopino, 15 in white, and it's taken away by John Schroeder. After celebrating a birthday yesterday, his pass deflected by Smith. Schellenberger scoops it. Wow, guys like a Roomba on the ride. Goes to the left hand and scores! A Tewaaraton moment from Connor Schellenberger. 1-goal game.
You can feel it in Schellenberger. You can see it in his play in the last 3 or 4 minutes. And he pays a massive price on this. Look at the punishment that he's willing to endure to get this ball. Right here's a slash coming up on Hopkins. Degnan chops him at the hip. He takes it to the middle, gets it tangled in the stick, and then you see the emotion. Number 1 for Virginia, Connor Schellenberger, wants to leave his legacy with a championship. He senses that this game is on the line, and he's amped it up.
So the slash against Degnan, he's still going to serve that penalty even though Virginia scored.
Virginia contemplating if they win this draw, do they take a quick timeout so they can sub? There's a huge face-off.
Got to win it first.
Huge.
Logan Callahan has other ideas. Hopkins can kill off the minute penalty. Just got to hang out of the ball.
Tell you, those man-up, man-down face-offs should be different stats. Should be credited double.
I like that call. Hunter Joronsky, 77 in black. Killed off some time. Patrick Deans to Angeles.
Virginia trying to double team, but Hopkins is outmaneuvering them with passing and good body movement.
I go back to what you pointed out at the start, Q, the Nuance of this matchup. Hopkins has a lot of smaller, quicker guys against Virginia's huge defensemen.
Virginia has not gotten their double teams going today. Hopkins has done a good job of not rolling back.
Under 10 seconds, a short-handed goal! Jacob Angelis! How's that for a juice goal?
I was talking about these exact scenarios with John Crawley, Johns Hopkins offensive coordinator, before the game. I said this year with these unreleasable penalties, and this one wasn't unreleasable, but there's been more man-up, man-down face-offs, more man-up, man-down clearing, some even man-down offense. Hopkins spreads Virginia out. The Cavs are pressing out, looking for the turnover, but Angelis pulls the string. Classic backdoor cut. You fake to the grassy knoll, boom, then you cut to the slot area. Big goal.
Man-up face-off win for Virginia. Schellenberger, bullseye! Colucci won the face-off, got it to 1 for his 4th goal today. 6 seconds after Hopkins went back up by 2, Virginia cuts it to 1.
Pinch and pop out the front side. Good handle by Colucci. Surprised Hopkins slid. They vacated Schellenberger for 81. The rotation is a second late. And Schellenberger launches that over the shoulder of the defender. And can you feel it? I mean, just look at Schellenberger. He's possessed.
That counts as a man-up goal for Virginia. Colucci takes another against Callahan. And Colucci wins another as Virginia comes away with it. Tommy McNeil, 6'3" junior out of Windham, New Hampshire. And Virginia can tie the game.
Back to even strength.
Well, you mentioned it with Schellenberger, the feeling of his fresh legs. Talked to him yesterday at practice. He's a 5th-year senior. He knows this is his last chance to win another national championship. Some space, that lefty shot gobbled up by Erlin. 15 saves for Chase Erlin.
It's a great save, strong top hand, driving it from his right shoulder across his face to the upper corner.
And every possession so crucial with under 5 minutes left. Hopkins on the run. Aviles missed the shot, had the backup with Melendez.
That's okay if you're Aviles. That's no big deal. There's two. You take that shot, you want 2 things to happen: a goal or send it off the end line.
And Hopkins gets their offensive personnel out there. Melendez rolls back on Schroeder. Long distance shot.
Weyer kind of lost his bearings there, lost his man, didn't know where the ball was.
Ryan Evans ripped it. Here comes Ayers, the freshman. Back to Evans. They spin it around with Grimes. Both teams with 40 shots today. 1 goal lead for Hopkins. Ayers with a step. Nunes with the save. Matt Nunes composed in the second half.
Decisive with the tomahawk chop, protecting the 5-hole. Virginia getting dividends off the 2-man game at X.
And then the goalie put it on the money for Yeager. Clear successful.
2 timeouts for Virginia.
You use one here if you're Coach Tiffany?
No, it looks like they're going to let this play out a bit.
They've got their top midfield out there. Schutz, Colsey, and Boyden.
Trying to get a switch on Schellenberger.
Here comes Colsey as Erdman sprints off. Ryan Colsey, the fresh legs out of the substitution box, under 30 to shoot. Ends up with Schutz. Back to X and Millen. Erlin's out of the goal. Had his man hung up for a second. Millen trying to turn the corner, goes over the shoulder, and Erlin makes sure he wins the backup.
Erlin may have been out of bounds.
Oh, big mistake from the experienced goalie.
He needed to decelerate.
He was trying to win the backup, ended up touching the ball when he was out of bounds. Shots. Colsey just missed. That was a funky shot. We had a great angle.
Hopkins has one timeout to go. They used a defensive timeout earlier. But things are getting a little crazy here, aren't they?
And with 3 seconds on the timer, Millen will take the shot clock violation.
Here comes the full field 10-man ride. Nunes is about 10 yards north of the goal. It's an empty net now. Virginia's net is empty.
Virginia, one of the best riding teams in the country. Top 10 in opponent clearing percentage.
Here comes Kessenich.
Hopkins has been effective today. And they will chase it down with Peshko. Nunes back in his goal. Peshko getting whacked by Weyer, who lost his stick.
Milliman stalking the officials now with 2 timeouts. It's a great clear by Hopkins. They got a lucky bounce.
Yeah.
They got a little lucky hop in front of that Virginia bench, but they made the play.
They're now 21 for 23, clearing the ball today. Bauer matched up with Terenzi. We are under 2 minutes to play.
Keep attacking if you're the Jays. Again, with the shot clock here. If you do turn this over, you want it to be behind the Virginia net. That way you can get back and deny transition.
.90 seconds on the game clock, 10 seconds on the shot clock. Collison's got a hat trick today, and he scores again. He had no room to get that shot off, but he beats the shot clock.
Blue Jays moments from a big win here on the road.
You see Chase Erlin in the first quarter, just 1 save, 5 goals allowed ever since 14 saves, 9 goals allowed. His team leads by 2. Massive face-off. It's done for Hopkins trying to chase it down. Virginia's got it with Mitchell Whalen. Grad student from outside Atlanta.
Well, nice play both by Whalen and Terenzi, who realized that if he stepped off over that line, he would have been offsides. Really, really smart play.
Under a minute to play. Both teams have a timeout. Schellenberger, Colsey, save, Erlin. Another stop. 16 saves for Chase Erlin. None bigger than that one.
10-man ride now, empty net. Look deep.
They fire it all the way down the field. A turnover by Hopkins. Over the head of Degnan. 33 seconds left.
Left side of your screen, Colsey goes over the top, changes levels. Erlin's there to the near side.
And Virginia gives it right back. Hopkins ball leading by 2 with 25 seconds to play.
Milliman wants a timeout. Milliman wants a timeout. He wants to draw this one up on the chalkboard, how they need to handle this, because Virginia's coming with the heat off this dead ball.
Well, all of a sudden, Quint, this is a pretty big game, not just for these teams, of course, but for the ACC.
It has been the week from hell for the pretty boy ACC. Going into this game, they have lost 4 straight contests. 2 last night. Man, Penn Quakers, they played such a gutsy and aggressive and impressive game. Princeton's got some young talent. Last Sunday, I saw Georgetown take down Notre Dame by 1 in overtime in a defensive gem. And then Syracuse and Army stood toe-to-toe for more than 60 minutes in the Dome on Wednesday in another. But this is the story right now of this season in non-conference play. That's what we deal with in February and early parts of March. The ACC has now, they're looking at their 5th straight conference loss in a week.
And meanwhile, for Peter Milliman, I talked to him before the game today about how he's in year 4 at Johns Hopkins. When he says when he left Cornell, people were surprised. Why would I leave Cornell? But he said he heard all the excuses about why was Johns Hopkins not winning. And he said, I didn't buy into any of them. I knew that Johns Hopkins could get back to being Johns Hopkins, and he's turned it around in the last couple of years.
Super veteran team, especially defensively. You bring in the transfer portal goalie, Trace Erlin. That has been a mark of genius. Garrett Degnan decides to return for a 6th year. And then some of the young guys have really become primetime players, guys like Matt Collison. Now you got a double team off this inbounds here with an empty net. Surprised the Hopkins player. Surprised Hopkins didn't take a shot there and chase it down.
Well, Bauer just flings it as high as he possibly can, trying to milk some clock. It lands with 19 seconds left. Nunes triggers. Jaeger. Here comes Terenzi. They got to score and got to score fast. Jaeger to Millen, pass deflected, and that's going to do it. The Doyle Smith Cup is heading back to Baltimore for the first time since 2018. Johns Hopkins knocks off Virginia. Well, Quint, Johns Hopkins is going to take that beautiful Doyle Smith Cup back with them to Baltimore, and they have certainly arrived. Put the word out, Johns Hopkins is officially back. For Quint Kessenich, our entire crew, I'm Drew Carter. Let's get you to college baseball.